Hi, I'm Kristy Marie Thomas. I hope that you are having a blissful, soul-infused day. Today I'd like to talk to you about learning a new language. Perhaps you wanted to travel to a far-off exotic land and know the language, be able to speak with the locals, order off the menu, and navigate that cool new place. A new friend of mine told me the final frontier isn't outer space, it's inner space. And I love that. The far-off land I like to travel is not out there. It's not Greece. It's not Turkey. It's not even Egypt. It's right in here. And I know a lot of you who are watching this are also either very familiar with that journey already, or you're just getting ready to get started on that journey. So it's a really good idea to learn the language. And what is that language? Well, it's symbols. If a picture is worth 1,000 words, a symbol is worth at least 1,000,000. Symbols unlock gateways into the inner world. So this inner world is really about connecting to the unconscious, to the soul. The unconscious speaks to us in symbols, whether in dreams, hunches, intuition, synchronicities, meditation, and even if we're willing to see it in our everyday waking life. But if we don't know the language, and if we're not even looking for the messages, we might miss some of these really important messages from our soul. And I don't know about you, but I'm pretty ready to get off this ride. I think a lot of us feel that way right now, and so I don't want to miss a single message from my soul. And I don't think any of us really do ultimately when we really stop to think about it. The soul has access to so much information that we are not yet conscious of at all. And our soul is connected to infinite light, infinite love, infinite wisdom. Within our soul is contained something I like to call our divine blueprint. This is what we are here to do, to be, to manifest in this our incarnation. It's sort of like our divine purpose for being here. And it's like a rose. So the seed of a rose contains the divine blueprint for that rose bush. And it has the innate intelligence to take that rose from seed to all the way to this amazing, full, gorgeous rose bush in full bloom. And here's another cool example. They've taken Kirlian photography of a leaf where part of it was cut off, but the Kirlian photo still showed the same energy pattern as it did for a leaf that was completely there. So this is like our divine blueprint. This is what our souls contain. And our soul always knows. It has that innate intelligence to always know the next thing we need to do to manifest our divine blueprint. And Jung is one of my favorites, and many psychologists, philosophers, and gurus the whole world over would say that the process of enlightenment or spiritual awakening is the process of making the unconscious parts of us conscious. It's that simple. Like for so long I was looking for it. Can somebody just tell me what this means? And that was the simplest, most profound explanation that I ever heard. I like to say it a little differently, and that is that making those unconscious parts of us conscious is actually infusing soul into matter. It's infusing our soul into this body, into this crucible. And they say that the true self, the self with the capital S, is actually buried in the unconscious part of us, and that the pathway of self-realization is about doing the inner work to discover it and then to actualize it, to embody it, to infuse spirit into matter. This is the divine marriage of the alchemists. This is the ancient secret of pretty much every mystical tradition. This is the sacred union of spirit and matter, and you are the crucible. How cool is that? Pretty cool, I'd say. So I encourage you to be aware of symbols. Here's some ways to become more aware of the symbols that your soul is using to help wake you up and get you more and more conscious. And one of them is one of the great tools is what's called an alpha state. So when your brain is in an alpha state, an alpha wavelength, which is a frequency, a wavelength of activity in the brain, this is the space where you stop thinking linearly with words and logic, and you move into this whole new spatial world, like a whole other dimension of experience. And that's when the language of symbols comes through. There are different ways to do this. 3 of them are meditation, self-hypnosis, and I would say self-hypnosis because when you go to someone else for hypnosis, it's great. I mean, it's a great introduction. It might be a great gateway for you to like learn how to get into that state. But ultimately, you want to be able to be your own boss, I guess. You want to be your own guru. You want to be able to take yourself there and to control the experience that you have. And so I would say learn self-hypnosis rather than going to someone for hypnosis. I'm sorry for my hypnotist friends. I love you. And certain types of music. You can just Google that. Say like, alpha state music, and you'll find some great links for that as well. And so I would say to start with, get there at a minimum of 15 minutes a day. Longer if you can. I tend to try to shoot for about an hour a day. And it's sometimes I've done 3, and I think the longest I did was like 5 hours in a day. And I swear it felt like it went in like 10 minutes. And it's beautiful, and it's crazy. It's this amazing portal into, you almost like start having waking dreams or lucid dreams, and that's a whole exciting area to explore too when you get a little further down the path. Keep a dream journal. So keeping a dream journal is just an amazing thing to do, because if your subconscious, your unconscious, your soul is trying to speak to you through dreams, wouldn't it be a good idea to start paying attention to them? And like when I was in high school, I went to Germany for, I guess it was a month, for like a little mini exchange. And I was so amazed. There was this guy there who had just moved to Germany without ever he never spoken a word of German in his life. And he just moved to Germany, just a teenage guy, and learned German, through immersion into the language and just forcing himself to be there. I would say to do that over getting a book on symbols, because that's somebody else's guide to symbolism, but it might not be the way your soul likes to speak to you. And so I would say immersion is the best way. So keep a dream journal. Every morning, first thing, write down everything you can remember, and do it while it's still fresh, because you think you're going to remember it like after you go have breakfast or something, but I promise you, you won't. Like they fade so fast. That sweet spot between dream and waking is a very, very beautiful space where a lot of magic happens. So include any details you can remember, any symbols, anything that you can remember. This practice is like a ritual, and it tells the unconscious that you are paying attention, that you are listening. And what you may find, which I found, and I think most people find when they start doing this, is that your dreams become more vivid, and you remember more of them over time, and they start becoming more meaningful, and you start recognizing patterns, and you start kind of recognizing what to pay more attention to. The third thing is to start to look for the synchronicities in your life. Be open to the symbolism that's happening when you're awake. It doesn't just have to happen during meditation or in dream state. And as you start doing this, you'll start seeing more and more synchronicities in your life. And you start seeing that your unconscious, your soul, is trying to communicate with you. It's infusing itself into your everyday experiences and into things that you may have previously overlooked. For me, synchronicities often come in 3s or 5s. Symbols, ideas, messages come to me from several different sources over the course of maybe like a couple days. And this is when I'm like, ding, 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 here is a message from my soul. This is something I need to pay attention to. And so write those things down too. And when symbols show up in your life, like I just said, write them down and meditate on them. Don't try to figure them out with your logic and your brain. And it's fine to look it up. You can Google it, especially when you're getting started. Google it. Like, just go and see symbolism of a dragonfly. That was one of my main symbols when I first started this whole yummy journey. And read it and like see what resonates with you. See what, kind of start listening to your soul and be sensitive to like what stands out to you, what's important to you, like how does that affect you, what does it make you feel, and then really, but even more so than trying to read about it or anything like that, that's taking like I said before, it's taking somebody else's interpretation of a symbol. And what you really want to do is start building your own interpretation so you can feed off of others, but like really start to learn your own language. So try to feel the energy of the symbol. Try to become one with symbol. See where it takes you. Write down any insights or thoughts that you may have. Another thing is like you can create art with them. Like with the dragonfly, I got a ring, and I wore it all the time till I lost it. And that create art, buy art, do whatever you can to surround yourself with those things that have meaning to you, that your soul is trying to communicate to you. And the more they're in your conscious awareness, the more you're strengthening that connection with your unconscious, with your soul, and the more it's able to infuse its energy into your daily life and into your consciousness. Other than this, okay, look for symbolism in movies, books, and art, and music. Look beyond the storylines, look beyond the lyrics, see if there is something deeper there. Start looking beyond, and perhaps your soul is drawing you to certain music at a certain time, or certain movie, or certain whatever, and pay attention, and see if there's something deeper in it for you. And if you start recognizing these patterns that cross all these various different parts of your life, and that's when you really know your soul is talking to you. Other things like study sacred geometry. If it calls to you, study symbolism a little bit more in depth. One of the great things for me has been studying Jungian psychology and shadow work, and archetypes. All of these can unlock gateways to your unconscious and let those messages from your soul come in more loud and clear. So symbols can be so many things, from the simple to the complex. A triangle is a symbol rich with esoteric meaning. It's just a simple triangle, but it has so much meaning when you're willing to become one with it, when you're able to meditate on it. Like an eye, a peacock feather, an eagle or a hawk, a circle, different shapes or even numbers, archetypes, sacred geometry. Like for me, the first thing I ever saw was just an X. I was just meditating and I saw this very faint X. I was like, oh, wow, what's that? I see an X. That's interesting. And then as I drew my consciousness to it, I started to notice it would morph and it would shift. And sometimes it would shift like this, and it would morph into this beautiful dragonfly. And then it would morph again, and it would be this spiral galaxy, like looking at it from the side, and it would shift, and I'd be able to see, it would reveal itself to me. And that's the thing with symbols, is that as you meditate over it, like that X, I meditated on it for weeks, just because I didn't really choose to, it just happened to me, but it kept showing up and kept showing up, and it was so cool because it wasn't like I just instantly got what an X meant. It's like over the course of meditating with it over a long period of time, it was like a beautiful flower that just blossomed for me. And it just over time, gradually just revealed itself to me, and all the mysteries that there were contained within it. And so it was pretty exciting. There was a lot here, a lot to learn, a lot to experience. And it's pretty amazing. I highly recommend it. So I want to say too, I don't consider myself by any means an expert on symbolism. I just feel like I'm just really a beginner, and I have so much more to learn, but I love to share what I've already learned. I find that I learn it more, it crystallizes for me when I share it with others, and I also feel that's just part of my soul path. It's part of my dharma, my passion and purpose in life. So that's what I do. Just like learning any skill or new language, it takes time, it takes patience and dedication and lots of practice. But hey, we are in the sacred journey of spiritual awakening, and it is so worth it to understand the messages your soul is trying to send you, and it makes your journey so much more rich and so much more effortless. And beautiful. So thanks for listening. I hope you have found this helpful in some way. I'm Kristy Marie Thomas, and you can find me on Facebook. And a little bit more about me. There's a crazy history, which I won't get into today. I've had an amazing journey. But for today, which all we are is really in the present moment, right? I am an artist of many flavors. I'm a philosopher. I'm a healer. I'm sort of a armchair psychologist that's passionate about Jungian psychology, shadow work, and just feel so called and drawn to help people heal the wounds that are keeping them from connecting more deeply to their soul and really manifesting their divine blueprint. So one of the many services that I offer is something called an energy art reading. And this is really cool, and this connects with the symbolism part. I connect with my clients' energy through a transfer of energy work, at Diksha, Reiki, whatever you want to call it. Like, I connect with your energy, and I see these vivid, beautiful, swirling, multidimensional geometries, and they morph into symbols, and there's all this amazing stuff that I just get to see for you. And it's not so much that you need to come to me for it. It's as much as like to help awaken you to whatever it is the next level of your journey, and helping empower you to be your own guru. Because I'm all about you being your own guru, which I can talk about another time. But here's an example of one of the pieces of energy art that I have done. Let's see if that's in focus there. So I recently did for a client, and he said that it looks an awfully lot like what he sees in meditation. So I thought that was amazing and cool. It was a really good experience, and I absolutely just love to connect with my clients, to connect with their energy, I feel like the blessing of Diksha, if you don't know about that, that's a topic for another day, but it's a blessing of oneness to connect us. I always like to say we're neurons in the divine mind. We're neurons in the collective mind, and we're here to share. We're here to develop those neural pathways, to build on each other's ideas, to share experiences. And so I think that's really cool. So that's one of the things I do. And then I also do goddess portrait play shops. It's one of the things I'm probably most known for in the Utah area. And I think I have the goddess portrait here. So let's see. Here is one of my goddesses. You can see my computer screen like there. But it says, "You are the divine made manifest." And that's ultimately what we're here to do and be, is to manifest the divine, to infuse spirit into matter. So, and to make that divine blueprint manifest. So I also teach other play shops on sacred geometry, and sacred spirals, flower of life, and mandalas. And here's an example of one of the mandalas that I recently have been working on. It's almost finished. And I also will do that for a client as well. And sometimes the energy art comes through as a mandala. Oh, and there's another one right here that I'm working on. I do mandalas as meditation, and find them, and Jung also used to do them as meditation as well. And they're incredible. They are magical symbols that can unlock amazing things in our spiritual journey. So that's a little bit about me. And I also do hands-on or remote energy work. And I try to share my journey openly. and authentically through just one-on-one conversations with people, through Facebook, through public speaking with different groups, and I'm also working on different play shops. And I also write articles and curate for an online magazine called Akasha. So links for that will be below as well. So feel free to friend me on Facebook. Links will be below. Set up a time if you feel so inclined to have an energy art reading. And this experience can help you connect more deeply to the world of symbols and archetypes and help unlock gateways in your consciousness. So, oh, and also if you're in Utah, you can watch for any upcoming play shops and events. And I just want to say I'm certainly not a guru by any means. I would never try to make myself out to be one. I'm just a fellow traveler. Like, I love that saying that we are just all walking each other home. And so I just share whatever I feel inspired to serve in any way that Spirit calls me. So this is an era right now that's so exciting. It's an era of humanity's evolution, of cooperation and collaboration. And as neurons in the collective mind, it's imperative that we share and learn and grow, both individually and collectively. So for today, I say I hope that you can find the symbolism in your own mind and in your own heart, in your everyday experiences, and that you can infuse your soul more fully into your everyday experience. I wish you a blissful soul-infused day and life. Namaste.